Hello, neighbor. Merry Christmas. Episode Christmas edition. We're continuing where we left off in the last episode of This Could Be Us. It's Christmas in the story, and it's also Christmas in our reality. But this is Christmas Eve in the story. And Soledad is doing something called a Noche Buena Christmas, essentially something associated with Puerto Ricans. And you cook. So she cooked a lot of tamales and some kind of food that I hope to try out eventually in my lifetime. And being the typical Soledad person she is, she goes to distribute it to Cora, the lady in their neighborhood, their community that is fighting cancer again. And she also thinks of Judah, that she wants to share some of the things she made with him. So she goes by herself. So just she alone goes to his house, and she's parked outside, and then she asks him if she can come in. He does give permission, and she goes inside, and that's where we're continuing. Okay? Now, Soledad herself even hesitates to come inside. And he tells her, don't worry, it's just 5 minutes. Judah brings her to the kitchen where he tries out what she brought. And he's telling her, oh my gosh, it's so good. Because she's telling him that she brought these things for him and his boys, his twin boys. And he's telling her, oh, I don't think I can leave any for my boys, so I'm greedy like that. Also, my boys eat only like 2 or 3 things. So they may not even be open to trying out something new. Autistic children, and if they like this 2 food or 3 food, that's all they can eat happily without getting bored. So it's that sort of scenario. Also, Judah is packing right now because he's going to be traveling the next day with his boys to see his parents. Currently, his boys, the twins, they are currently with his ex-wife, Tremaine, but he and the boys would travel to see his parents the next day. Now, watching Soledad online has actually influenced Judah. He knows about her sisters. So when she's saying, oh, that my sister came over to spend the holidays with us, he immediately goes, which one of them? And she's like, whoa, you actually listened to me. And also, because of Soledad, for the first time in his life, Judah has a me list. Because for so long, he's lived for his kids and neglected himself. That's the thing. Parents of disabled children, Judah is thinking this. Sometimes they fall into the trap of thinking sacrificing everything is the greatest measure of our love. We devote everything to our kids, who need more than most. That has consumed me for years. I thought that kind of singular focus expressed the highest form of love for my boys. Your journey, your list, has shown me how much I'd neglected anything just for me. Maybe there's value to them seeing their father happy. That's what Judah informed Soledad. Watching you, I'm thinking that I should be happy too, and that my boys would actually benefit from seeing their dad happy. So with that, he has something to show her, has something to show Soledad. So he takes her out to a shed at the back. There, he's working on restoring an old truck. He tells her that it's a classic, a 1964 Chevy C10. I don't know cars, but I know someone who does, or I know a couple people who do, and it's always so cool when I hear them talking about cars. I'm like, maybe people might influence me one way or the other, so I know about cars. Anyhow, Judah, he used to restore classic bikes and cars with his father until his sophomore year in college. Sophomore, I think, is second year in college. There's a correlation between when he works with his hand and the peace and clarity it brings to his mind. He forgot that, working with my hands used to just bring me peace. But when Soledad came into the picture, him watching her, having his meal list, he now returned to the things that calm him down, okay? Now, in the back of the truck that he's restoring, there's a blanket and 2 pillows. And Soledad's like, ooh, you planned this thing up, like a setup. She's teasing him. He's like, no, I'm not setting you up for anything. No, that's whenever I walk out here, my sons stay out with me, so I keep those things so that they're comfortable. You get. So he hoists her up onto the truck. And when she promises not to take advantage of him, he's like, please, take advantage of me, please. So, other things on his meal list, he's telling her more things on his meal list. One of it is running the New York City Marathon. And when he says that, she's like, ooh, you don't ask her, is it sexy? And the serious way he asks it, not sometimes when people ask you that kind of question, they're flirting, they're not really being serious. But Judah is seriously asking, is it sexy? When somebody asks you that kind of question, looking so serious, like, whoa, dude, what's that? You get, it's supposed to be a joke, but everything about him makes soul come alive. Judah tells her, well, look at some sexy things about you here. You're resilient. The way you make me laugh when you don't mean to be funny. How smart you are. Actually, Sol graduated with a higher GPA than Edward, her ex-husband. He used her notes. That is, Edward used Soledad's notes. Soledad grilled him to be better, and when he was stuck on accounts, she helped out. Yet he made it out to be that she relied on him, whereas the opposite was the case. Judah also finds it sexy how Soledad cares for others. Cora, the lady fighting cancer and co. And Saul is touched that Judah even remembers Cora's name. Because he didn't say, oh, I like how you helped out mom with cancer. No, he said, I like how you helped Cora, the lady fighting cancer. And she's like, you remember the woman's name. That's really kind, okay? Now, in that moment, she just thinks to herself, Judah, I want you as a Christmas gift. Then she puts her arms around him and they kiss. It goes beyond first base, but it doesn't progress much beyond that. Thankfully, he stops them. And it's been 30 minutes of deep makeout and a little touchy. So she just tells him she should return to her family. Mind you, again, it's also Judah that stops this same makeout section. It's him that stops it. He is taking his time with Soledad. And he has this possessive grip on her that makes her laugh and makes her happy. And she's thinking to herself, he doesn't seem Judah-like right now. The thing is, yeah, both of them have known each other for a year, but it feels longer. As each interaction they have, there's just so much packed on each of them. He asks if he can call her. Like, yeah, you can call me. Now, they wish each other Merry Christmas. And I am wishing you again Merry Christmas never. Now, Soul's girls want to see their father. That's the scene she gets home and meets, right? It's the holidays. She doesn't want to tell them that their father doesn't want to see them. All right? Because he's in prison and he's always insisting, I can't see my girls while I'm in here. But Saul somehow arranges it and brings the girls to see Edward. They're in the car when Lupe asks if Soledad has to come. Soledad tells them that she has to. They're minors. She can't let them go in there alone. Inez is the middle daughter that adores her father. But now the girls know the truth that their dad really hurt their mom and they're protective of her. So as much as Inez is the daddy's girl, she is also feeling fury, disappointment, longing at the same time for Edward. Fury that, oh my gosh, this is my dad I love so much, treated on my mom I love so much. Disappointment in him. I'm still longing for him despite the mess he created. So Inez loves an undeserving man, all right? It's a sorrow most women experience at some point. So the dad is raging at Edward, who's caused his daughters so much grief. She doesn't yet know the extent of the daddy issues they might have from all of this. Meanwhile, Soledad's sisters, they had a FaceTime with her that morning. Yasmin brought her flowers for courage. But Yasmin said, I brought these flowers for friendship, because they're so pretty, made me think of you. But Soledad knows that Yasmin brought it as per, girl, take courage. You're taking your daughters to see that man in jail today. Right now, they're in the car. They're already at the prison, but they haven't gone in. And she's just thinking to herself, my friends, my sisters, my daughters, these are my great loves. Those are who Soledad has, okay? And it's beautiful. So what Soledad ends up explaining to her daughters when it concerns their mixed feelings for their father, she tells them, see, your father is not all bad and he's not all good. And he's still your father. Finding out he's not perfect doesn't erase all your love for him, okay? You can love your dad and you can hurt at the same time. That holding two contradictory truths in balance. So they go into the jail. When Edward's girls hug him, he's deeply emotional and he mouths thank you to Saul. You know that whole thing when you say thank you, but you don't really voice out the words, but someone else can read your lips and get what you're saying. Now, Inez asks in the middle of them visiting him why he did what he did. The way Edward is just now looking so like, oh, come on now, help me answer this question. Inez is asking him, why did you commit the fraud thing? Saul is in her mind, she's saying, Toto, I'm done helping you out of your sticky situation. Stand up for yourself. So to this thing, Edward now explains that he made a mistake. Judah's name comes up in the conversation. And next thing, Edward is looking at Saul in this accusatory look. Soledad holds that look like, you're looking at me, Edward sees the time. Like he glances up and sees the time. And suddenly he tells his daughters that they need to go, that time is up. You can feel his daughter's desperate plea to spend more time with his good-for-nothing self. But Uncle is telling them, that time is up. That he doesn't want them coming back here, but they can talk on phone. To be petty, Soledad hugs Edward unexpectedly, just so she can whisper to him, just thought you should know. Found out the problem wasn't that my down there was theirs. I just needed a bigger, okay? So Edward is looking really angry and upset, so we have that in common. Now, we know that Sol is bluffing because she has not been sleeping with anybody. She has not slept with anyone since Edward gave her XTDS. While they are at the car, Sol catches sight of Amber arriving. Tells her daughter, hold on, I'm coming. She rushes to intercept Amber, and she finds that Amber is holding a bundle. So Edward did not just cheat on Soledad. He actually had a baby with Amber. And Amber was actually sleeping with two men at the same time, which explains how Edward caught XTI from Amber that he transferred to Soledad. Do you get? So Amber claims that she's so sorry about everything. Remember, Amber is Edward's former secretary. His secretary that he was in on the scam with, and also throwing her at the same time. She's not his wife with the Amber woman at the same time. And Amber is a white lady, white slim younger lady. In as much as Amber is claiming in front of Sol's face that she's sorry about everything, Sol isn't taking her nonsense. Amber claims that I'm suffering. But Soledad, who has been rich in her life and is going to be rich again, she uses her trained eye, looks over what Amber is wearing alone. And what Amber is wearing as she's standing in front of Soledad is nothing less than $2,000. So wouldn't put it past Edward and Amber that they have a nest egg the FBI didn't find. And when she voices that thought, the way Amber stiffens, Soledad is right. They actually have money somewhere that the FBI did not find. But Sol knows that she's not going to use this information. She does not need to use it and make things harder for Edward because all she just wants that Edward stays away from her and her daughters. As for Amber, Sol feels pity for her with a man like Edward. You think that a man that's cheated on his wife with you will be faithful to you. It's just a matter of time. He will do you back times 100. So Amber, Sol just says, what of you fit each other? You get, wishes her good luck. Personally, when I read this part, what I was thinking to myself is that moment when the ex-wife of a man wishes you good luck with him under those kind of circumstances. Nah, you yourself are supposed to run now. Meanwhile, Judah, he's back in town, but his twin boys, they're with his ex-wife Tremaine, their mother, because she missed them, okay, while they were out of state to see their grandparents. Things Judah take for granted. Like, he takes it for granted that he is so actively involved with his boys, running with them, training with them, helping them cope with this autism thing. Judah sees it like, is that not what I'm supposed to do? He takes for granted that he does it. But these are things that other men in that situation, many men who have autistic sons or children like Judah, they will just throw money at the woman and say, manage the child, manage your children, you understand? But Judah's reason, and when they found out, when their boys were diagnosed with autism spectrum, is it Tremaine paused her life for the boys. That I'm supposed to do the same. You get? So even for Judah and Tremaine, they only recently, like some 5 years ago or so, resumed their careers. They were working from home freelance and doing kind of flexible schedule just so they can be on the lookout for their boys. Now that their boys are more stable, that's when both of them are going in full for their careers. Judah could have had a career years ago. It's only Tremaine that could have been starting, but Judah is like, we are in this together. That's why it was even, they got to this point faster, the point of their boys being stable enough. Okay, so that shows you just such a kind person, a kind, reasonable man Judah is. And he doesn't even see it as extraordinary. He sees it like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Please, amen. Yes and amen to men like this. So now Judah sits to work. Judah settles down to work. He's alone by himself. His boys are not here. And he loves working. But then his thoughts, they're all about Sol. So he's distracted. He wants to call her, but stops himself. But he gets a call from her instead. And it sounds like she's crying. And she's outside. She parks in the garage and he helps her out of her coat. She's in a modest gown. Like, the gown she's wearing is modest. One of those high neck, body fitting gown. It's decent. The kind of dress you can wear to church and all. But the thing is, according to Judah's head, Soledad does not have a modest body. She's one of those people that slim waist, that tiny waist thing and wide hips. And she's now petite, So she's curvy. And she's that kind of alluring woman without trying, okay? Something about the air makes they start kissing. But her tears, Soledad's tears are still coming. So once she mentions that she's crying and it's about Edward, oh my gosh, Judah does not even know when he does it, when he steps back from her because he's jealous. So did you come to kiss me because you're reminiscing on your ex-husband? So she quickly rushes to explain, no, it's not like that. That we visited him at jail today, I and the girls. And I saw Amber, his secretary. I found out that Edward actually has a baby with her. It made me feel so betrayed, even worse than I thought I already felt. And how Edward would have still left me if this whole thing did not come out and blow up in his face. He would have still left me. That was the realization I came to today. Judah is like, I don't think he would have been that dumb. He used to brag about you at the office, about his wife and how coordinated she is. Yes, even regardless of that, Edward still wanted something shinier. So to this, Soledad now tells Judah, I want more than what I have now. In a few months, Edward will walk out of prison a free man. He finally got his boy. He'll have everything he wanted. And I have taken so little for myself. The child that Edward has with Amber is actually a boy, his son. So to this, Judah now asks Soledad, is that why you came here today? To take something for yourself? Judah knows Soledad better than this. She asks for one time and more if she asks again. Like, basically, she's asking for a sort of arrangement on her terms. Do you get? Judah knows better. Like, he should not be doing this, and because he's not someone who does flings and all. But is that thing that this is a person, a woman he's had a crush on for a very long time, and he can't find it in himself to deny her. So that's why Judah doesn't even hold back. He asks her a very reasonable question. And what if I want to do it again? So are you the only one who gets what they want out of this? So to this, Soledad now says, I thought you wanted me. Judah replies her, you know I do. She now asks him, then what's the problem? The problem is, what if he wants more? What if he does not want a fling? What if he wants a committed relationship and all those things? What if he wants them and you're just here offering the friggin' man a fling? That's just not the right thing to do. I felt Judah's perspective deeply. He's normally a woman in Judah's shoes, usually. He feels so much. I feel like wrapping him away right here and protecting him. But Judah finds himself still settling for what Soledad can offer. He's thinking to himself, she's fooling herself if she thinks anything we do together will stay shallow. She's clinging to an illusion of control. And I think that's what she needs to do after what Edward has put her through. It's just an illusion though. I know what control feels like. I've pursued it, insisted on it whenever I could. This is its opposite. This is free fall. Okay? Now, between Judah and Soledad, there's so many obstacles still. Why they should be together now? Because he is thinking, I want a future with her. It will be complicated. I have a complex situation with my boys and an unconventional setup with my ex. So that has all that thing Edward has done. Her daughters probably hate me and think I put their father in prison. There are obstacles, but with Soledad standing so close, warm and soft and willing and wanting me, none of them feels more important than this moment. Now, the thing that happens that follows here is an intimate scene. And normally I skip the scenes whenever I'm telling stories. However, this particular intimate scene is part of the story. So I can't skip it. And this is why I think Kennedy Ryan, the author of this book, This Could Be Us, has a superpower. This is them in the bedroom. So that is self-conscious and she's so talkative. She's talking about random things. Because, whoa, woman has not been with anyone other than her stupid ex in maybe 20 years almost now. You get? And the similar thing goes for Judah, who has not been with a woman since Tremaine and he's been celibate 4 years and counted. You get? So she's honest and tells Judah that Edward knew that she, Soledad, had a high sex drive. The whole scene progresses in a hot and steamy fashion. Outfit close, it catches her off guard at several points that she's yelping, giggling. She's 40 years old now, so I think they're about at most a year or 2 years apart. He calls her fantastic. The real kicker happens when he slides in and tries adjusting. So what he now mutters into her neck is sorry. It's tight. So that finds herself freezing. Edward's taunting words walk the corridors of her mind, blowing through the chambers of her heart. Because remember at the beginning of the story, when Soledad and Edward were preparing for that Christmas party, and he told her the reason he does not like getting intimate with her is that things got loose down there. So to this, Soledad now draws back from Judah's face and asks him, what did you say? Because she's breathing through the discomfort and the shock of pleasure that is not only physical, but the bliss of healing. To this, Judah replies her, I said it's just a little tight. This is a woman who's had 3 children, pushed out 3 children from there, and Judah is saying something like that. Again, it's a mix of physical pleasure and healing. Healing from those very awful words, those things that made her question herself. Is she's going to be wanted after having spent most of her life with that one man and nursing children. You get, oh, she's felt, oh, her bestie is already behind her. But this scene is proving that it is not. Now, Soledad is petite. I've said that before. Judah is about twice her size, but she's feeling worshipped. While she's sleeping, he is in hell. After the whole act, she is sleeping soundly. But Judah been thinking. He's just been thinking. He's like, I don't want her self-partnering anymore. I want to be her partner. I want to be the one she leans on. And for her to be whom I lean on in return. I want us to sort the tangled fibers of our lives, to knock down the barriers to being together. I want her to be whole. I just want to be whole with her. Do you get? I don't want her to do the whole thing alone. I want to do the whole thing with her. But he'll take her however way she'll have him. So when she gets up, they get playful, but a call from her daughter zaps Soledad out. The girls fought, and they're supposed to have a vision board party tonight with Soledad. So she leaves instructions for them to order food. She'll be home in 30 minutes. She starts dressing to leave, and Judah is frustrated. It shouldn't feel like he's her lover. Like that random dude she has to keep a dirty secret. When he's a man who's been falling in love with her incrementally since the moment they met. And it's crazy that the protection they used today to do the whole thing, Judah actually got them on the Harvest Festival night. The condoms. The Harvest Festival, they've not even had their first kiss. That was like months ago or something. Then so that is like, whoa, you got those things on that night. What signal did I give you that you thought anything is going to happen soon, that you bought protection on that night? You get, you are really cocky. So Judah says, no, I'm not cocky. I was just hopeful. And it took a while, but yeah, well, here they are. She opens his drawer, sees the box of the protection stuff there, the condoms, and the book that she's doing for the book club, the whole book by Bell Hooks and Co. He read it to feel closer to her, and it's bookmarked with notes written in margins. She goes through it. That pink grocery list from the first time he came to see her is in the book. If you listen from the first episode, you will know the pink grocery list. I'm not going to go through it. Go and listen to the first episode, you get it. It's so vulnerable because his behavior is bordering on stalkerish. You get the whole doing things, watching her life, reading the books she recommends, doing anything he can to feel close to her. Thankfully, so demonstrates that their togetherness had a profound, deeper than she expected meaning for her. For so she doesn't see him as a play toy, something to satisfy her physically or make her feel like a woman because of what Edward has done. No, it's also deeply meaningful for her. He's not the only one. Now, Soledad tells him that she would stay if she could, but she needs to go. To this, he now asks her, am I allowed to ask if we can see again? And the tone he uses here, he's not trying to make her feel guilty or obligated to. So Soledad now replies, call me. So that's hope. I'll continue the story, but I feel like I went in so deep here. So the next episode is going to come Monday. I had hoped it would be the last, but we're going to finish this story next week for sure. Maybe Monday and Thursday we'll be done. So thank you so much for really, really listening during your holidays. All right. Thank you, Liber. Please share, comment, tell someone, leave a review, all of those awesome good stuff. And I will see you next episode. Happy holidays.